My sister feigned an application and then insisted that I serve as her surrogate. Although the stunning reality altered everything, she is now pregnant. It never occurred to me to post this on Reddit, but that's how life works. Sarah here, 28 years old, and it was about 6 months ago that everything changed. When my sister Angelina, 32F, announced that she was pregnant, it all started. Angelina and I have never gotten along well. We were never at the same stage of life at the same time since we grew up 4 years apart. As a youngster, Angelina was flawless. She excelled academically, led the debate team, and played first-chair violin in the school orchestra. I, on the other hand, was a more independent person. Although I performed well academically, my areas of interest were computers and programming. Our mother and especially always seemed to think that Angelina was better. They couldn't always make it to my coding contests, but they would always show up for all of her performances and debates. We developed a rift as a result of this that only became bigger as we got older. Angelina's perfect existence seemed to come full circle when she met Tom, 34, while attending college. They were married soon after graduating from college, and everyone assumed they would have a family right away. However, years went by with no baby. Although Angelina never discussed it much, I could see it affected her. In the meanwhile, I focused on my work. I bought my own apartment, got a great job at a computer company, and started a career as a software engineer. Even if my life did not go as my parents had planned, I was happy with it, so when Angelina revealed she was expecting, I was thrilled for her. I thought that at last, as sisters, this would bring us closer, but then Angelina revealed the shocking information. The surrogate mother would be me. Not questioned, just informed. It stunned me. I wasn't close enough to Angelina for her to think that I would act in this way. We spoke only once a month, and when we did, it was usually just to catch up on things. It was astounding that she thought I would carry her child. I attempted to express my discomfort with the idea to her, but she brushed it off. "Oh, Sarah," she said. "Come on. It is not significant. In any case, you're not using your uterus at the moment." I was astounded by what I heard. Absent from my uterus? Was she telling the truth? I made an effort to convey that signing up to be a surrogate was a significant choice that would affect my appearance, career, and way of life for at least 9 months. However, Angelina refused to hear it. She went on to talk about how long she and Tom had been trying, how this was their one and only chance, and how my refusal to assist was self-serving. When our parents were involved, things got worse. As usual, Mom 56F and Dad 58M agreed with Angelina. They started calling me every day, telling me how much family meant to them, and that I should be ready to go above and above for my sister. Dad continued. "This is your chance, Sarah, to make a meaningful life change at last." That was painful. I'm proud of my life, my work, and my own home, but none of stuff matters anymore since I won't be my sister's incubator. I felt as though I was back in high school, always being judged by Angelina and found wanting. The pressure kept becoming stronger. Angelina started introducing her wonderful sister who would serve as her surrogate to her acquaintances and extended family. She even made reference to it on Facebook prior to my making any commitments. All of a sudden, I started getting letters from aunts, cousins, and other family members who I hadn't spoken to in years, praising me on my selflessness. I tried to set the record straight, but Angelina was too far along to stop her lying. Those to whom I confided in the truth either didn't accept me or believed my story was too dramatic. They would say it's just 9 months. Do you not want the best for your sister? However, it lasted longer than 9 months. It was my life, my career, and my body. Recently I was given the opportunity to manage development on a big project at work. How was I supposed to deal with that while expecting? What are the risks to my health and potential long-term effects on my body? All of this seemed to be unimportant to anybody. At a family dinner, something snapped. It was Angelina who had invited everyone to celebrate her impending surrogacy. Even though I hadn't committed to anything, she acted as though everything was finalized. She started talking about her ideas for the nursery and how excited she was for me to start hormone therapy as we sat around the table. It was more than I could take. I took a stand and told them the reality. I said that I was sick of being shamed and intimidated into doing something I didn't want to do, that I had never agreed to be a surrogate, and that Angelina had lied to everyone. The space grew silent. Then everything went crazy. Angelina broke down in tears, saying I was ruining her one chance to be a mother. My parents started shouting at me, accusing me of being heartless and selfish. Tom just sat there, appearing uncomfortable. I was ecstatic when I exited the meal. Was I the villain here after all? For 9 months, I refused to give up my body and life. Was this selfishness on my part? Although it didn't seem that way to me, my family seemed to disagree. Things have been tense ever since that evening. I am not chatting with Angelina. Mom and Dad are always leaving voicemails that make you feel guilty. Some of my friends have even shown unusual behavior towards it, stating things like, "Well, I would do it if it were my sister. I'm not giving up, even if it's difficult. I can't believe they're putting so much pressure on me, but I also feel like I'm losing my family because of this. I got to pick since it's my body, right? The entire matter has reminded me of a lot of my early years. The feeling that nothing I accomplish ever measures up to my parents' standards, the constant comparison to Angelina. I had assumed I had gone over it, but the controversy around surrogacy has brought it all back to light. I attempted to have a one-on-one conversation with Angelina in the hopes that she would understand my perspective, but she would not listen. You've never cared about anybody but yourself, she repeats again and over. You've always been selfish. She seems to be rewriting our whole past to suit her script, in which I am the bad guy. Tom's silence throughout this situation has been odd. I attempted to talk to him about it, but all he replied was that it was between me and Angelina. However, isn't it appropriate for him to choose who has his child? I'm doubtful about his lack of engagement, but I'm not sure why. I'm at a loss on what to do. Although I know it's not the right reason to become a surrogate, there's a part of me that wants to give in just to put an end to the drama. There's a part of me that wants to break all my connections and start anew somewhere else. To escape it all, I've been thinking of moving to my company's office in another location. Is fleeing, though, really the answer? What happens if Angelina attempts to use someone else to carry out her surrogacy arrangement? Do I need to warn them? I guess the purpose of my writing this is to see whether I'm crazy. Is it improper that I decline to act as my sister's surrogate? How can I handle this situation without totally losing my family? At this point, I feel like I'm drowning in family turmoil and have no way out, so any assistance would be much appreciated. Update. 3 weeks have passed since my last piece, and the problem has only gotten more complicated. I want to thank everyone who took the time to comment on my first post, first and foremost. Your support and direction helped me feel less crazy about the whole affair. I decided to stick to my stance after considering your suggestions. I refused to serve as a surrogate for my family, despite their persistent requests. Things were too peaceful for a time. I had a call last week from a number I was unfamiliar with. It was a lady posing as a surrogacy agency representative when I responded. She started talking about how they were excited to proceed with the process after receiving my application. When I understood what had happened, I was initially terrified and then bewildered. In my name, Angelina had submitted an application for surrogacy. She had presented medical records that she had somehow gotten, stolen my personal information, and even faked my signature. I was enraged. This was identity theft, not just a boundary violation. I returned their call right away and gave them the rundown on the circumstances. They were sympathetic, but advised me to report anything to the police just to be safe. I felt conflicted. Angelina might face serious legal repercussions if she files a police report. She gravely invaded my privacy and did an unlawful behavior at the same time. I thought of all the times when we were kids and Angelina got away with something because I didn't want to ruin her. Like the time she broke my mother's favorite vase and said I was to blame, or the time she took my car when I was in college and ended up in an accident. I finally made up my mind to turn in the report. Though it was not an easy choice, I had to stand up for myself. What would happen if Angelina repeated this behavior? The consequences were immediate and terrible. I phoned Angelina and she yelled at me that I was trying to ruin her life. My parents were furious and told me I was destroying the family. Even Tom, who had said very little the whole incident, voicemailed me in a fit of rage. However, this is where things become increasingly trickier. Recall that I stated that Tom and Angelina had been trying for a child for several years? There's a rationale for that, though, after learning of the police report. A mutual friend got in touch with me. I learned something new from her. Many years before he met Angelina, Tom underwent a vasectomy. Not only did this revelation indicate that Angelina had been lying to me about their infertility problems, but it also brought back memories of Angelina and Tom's early dating years. During a family BBQ, I heard them talking to one another. Angelina agreed with Tom when he said he didn't want kids and said she wasn't sure she wanted to be a mother either. It didn't seem like much at the time, but all of a sudden it seemed important. Tom did not seem to want children. When they initially started dating, he told Angelina this, and she said she was okay with it. But as time went on, Angelina became fascinated with the idea of being a mother. She kept pushing Tom. And in the end, he said that he would think about being a surrogate or adopting her. This new knowledge made me question everything. Why had Angelina been fine not to have children before, and now she was yearning for a child? And when you could just adopt or find a willing surrogate through regular methods, why would you go to such lengths to make me a surrogate? With this information, I was at a loss for what to do. A part of me wanted to confront Angelina and expose all of her lies. However, I also had sympathy for her. Was she really so anxious to have a child that she would lie like this? Ultimately, I decided to talk to Tom first. I told him everything when we had coffee, including the surrogacy push, Angelina's lies, and what a mutual acquaintance had told me. Tom gasped. He said he thought Angelina would be delighted if he approved of her surrogacy idea. But he had no idea how big of a liar she was. Tom revealed details of his own marital difficulties while we conversed. He acknowledged that the main reason he and Angelina had been at odds for years had been their differing views on starting a family. He admitted that although he had considered leaving on several occasions, he stayed because he loved Angelina and hoped she would change her mind about becoming a mother. Tom left our meeting looking surprised. I was happy that the truth was finally coming to light, but I also felt terrible for him. I pondered if this might be the catalyst for him to face Angelina at last and maybe call it quits on their marriage. I'm not sure what to do with my parents and Angelina at this point. My worries are about what will happen to Angelina while the authorities look into the identity theft. She's still my sister in spite of all this. I can't help but go back to when we were younger and actually got along. Similar to the summer we spent at our grandparents' farm, gathering fireflies in jars and staying up late to see meteor showers. Angelina's current self finds it hard to reconcile such memories with herself. My parents haven't talked to me in a while. They think I'm lying to get out of my surrogacy role. I'm trying not to cry, even though it hurts. To assist me deal with the stress and the emotions that this circumstance has brought up, I've started going to a therapist. I'm seriously thinking about temporarily moving out of state to avoid the chaos. I may ask to be transferred to my employer's office in a different city. It's alluring to consider starting over. However, I'm also worried about escaping my problems. That's the current state of affairs. My sister could be facing legal issues. My family is in ruins, and I'm thinking about moving to a new city to start again. A month ago, I never would have imagined myself where I am now, but that is life. I'll inform everyone on what happens next. Once again, I want to thank you for your aid. You underestimate its significance. Second update. 2 months have passed since my last post. And just when I thought life could get much more difficult, something unexpected happened. Let me first give you an update on what has been going on. A fraud allegation was brought against Angelina after the identity theft event. Though she was required to pay a fine and perform community service, it was just a misdemeanor. Unable to get over Angelina's lies about wanting children and the whole surrogacy fiasco, Tom filed for divorce. Yes, I accepted that transfer after all. For the last month, I've been living somewhere else in an effort to start over away from all of the suffering in my family. It's been difficult but also energizing. I made a few new friends, pushed myself through work, and even started going to therapy in order to cope with the stress of the previous several months. However, this is when things unexpectedly turn around. Last week, my mom gave me a call. I was surprised to hear from my folks as we had not communicated since the police report. I was on the verge of responding, but something told me not to. My mother was crying when I picked her up. Despite her sobs, she told me about Angelina's pregnancy. Of course, I was confused. Given that Tom had a vasectomy and they were divorcing, how could Angelina be pregnant? As it happens, Tom is not the father of the child. Not even in terms of biology is it Angelina's. After a while, my mother told me the truth. From the start, Angelina had been telling falsehoods about everything. Angelina is not and has never been infertile. The tale of the years of trying was all lies. She didn't want to go through the pregnancy herself, so she wanted me to be a surrogate. It seems that Angelina has always been terrified of getting pregnant and having a baby. This worry stems from a tragic incident that happened to her when she was a teenager, of which I was ignorant. When Angelina was 16, she saw our cousin go through a tough pregnancy and almost die giving delivery. It affected her deeply and left her with a deep phobia of being pregnant. However, Angelina desired a child much too much. That is, she believed. She regarded Tom's announcement that he didn't want children as the perfect opportunity to play the needy infertile wife and force someone else, me to carry a kid for her. But she went into a frenzy when her plan with me didn't work out. This is the person she started to see behind Tom's back. Call him Mike. Angelina was trying to escape a scenario she now finds her in after Mike got her pregnant. I was unable to speak. Angelina's dread of being pregnant was the root of all the turmoil and suffering in our family. As my mother spoke, additional realities surfaced, even if at first they looked absurd. My parents claimed to have known about Angelina's anxiety of getting pregnant for a long time. They thought that by using a surrogate, she might get over her concern, thus they approved of her notion. They never gave it any thought as to how it would affect me or how it was improper to force someone to act as a surrogate. I had a range of feelings. Feelings of vindication, relief at the revelation of the truth, and fury at the deceit all combined. It turns out that I was right all along, after months of being labeled as heartless and selfish. My mother apologized for a very long period. Both she and my father realized how much they had messed up and mistreated me. They inquired as to my forgiveness. I told her I needed time to process everything. It took me a while to come to terms with the fact that my entire family had been lying to me for months, or perhaps years. I told her I will consider it and get back to her. It seems like Angelina is a hot mess. She put up a lot of effort to prevent being pregnant, but it happened. Mike wants no involvement with the kid, and Tom won't give her back. She is facing the consequences of her decisions for the first time, feeling scared and alone. I feel mixed emotions for her on the one hand, I'm angry at all the suffering she's brought upon us. Though I'm not sure whether I'll ever be able to contact with her again, I'm making an effort to have confidence in my heart that she'll receive the assistance she requires. That's the current state of affairs. The deceitful network inside my family has ultimately come to an end, and we are all left to bear the repercussions. I'm still processing everything and attempting to choose my next course of action, although I have no idea what the future holds. This much is certain. I'm happy I stuck to my guns. I think the most important lesson I've taken away from all of this is to always trust your gut, despite what everyone else may say. I've been thinking about our family dynamics since the whole thing happened. I was the black sheep in my childhood and Angelina was always the golden kid. Those positions seem to have reversed at this point. I'm not sure how to handle this strange experience. I've discussed everything with my therapist. She's helping me get through my anger and emotions of betrayal. Though it's taking time, I'm beginning to see benefits. In terms of my work, the modification has proved beneficial. To keep myself busy and away from the family drama, I'm working on an interesting new project. I have amazing new coworkers, and I'm starting to feel like I belong here. I'm still not sure how to handle my familial situation. A part of me wants to try and mend our relationship and forgive them. There's a part of me that fears getting hurt again. I can't stop thinking about all the times I've shown them forgiveness just to see them go back to what they did before. I'm taking things day by day for the time being. When I tell my parents that I need space, they are surprisingly understanding. I'm not ready to talk to Angelina just now, but she's made many attempts to get in touch with me. For now, I'm concentrating on getting better and moving on with my life, but I'll keep you informed if something significant occurs. I appreciate your unwavering support during this crazy journey. Version 3. Since my last post was 6 months ago, I felt it was time to provide an update on the current state of affairs. Numerous things have changed. Even if nothing is ideal, I think I'm at a respectable spot right now. First, the important information. Approximately 2 months ago, Angelina gave birth to a little daughter. The pregnancy and delivery proceeded smoothly in spite of her fears. I've heard that she's adjusting to parenthood more smoothly than anyone could have predicted. It seems like having a child has changed her outlook on a lot of things. My parents informed me about the birth even though I wasn't there. I have to say, the baby is beautiful, at least from the pictures they provided me. It is strange to think that I am now an aunt, particularly in light of all that has happened. I have a tense connection with my family. I thought about it all and decided to offer my parents a chance to right their wrongs. We've had a lot of in-depth, difficult conversations about boundaries, respect, and trust. They seem to truly understand how terrible their actions were, as they have apologized several times. Our connection is slowly being restored, but it isn't the same as it was. I'm now more watchful and circumspect. However, I'm also proud of myself for setting and upholding boundaries. My parents are aware that I won't hesitate to cut them off completely if they attempt to control or put pressure on me once more. My relationship with Angelina is still tense. Several times when I've seen her as a newborn, other family members have always been there. We're courteous even if it's awkward and unpleasant. Although Angelina has expressed regret for her actions, I'm not quite ready to pardon her just yet. There was a significant loss of confidence, and recovery will be gradual, should that ever occur. As a single mother, Angelina faces challenges. But she is getting help from our parents and going to therapy to deal with her anxieties and problems. She even started a support group for women who are afraid of getting pregnant or giving birth, a condition known as tocophobia. Even though it's too late to undo the harm she's caused, it's reassuring to see her taking action to address her problems. Personally, I'm doing fantastic. My decision is to remain in the new city. Here, I've built a life I'm happy with. In addition to my professional success, I've met some incredible pals. I've even started dating somebody. Although it's early, it feels good to be making progress. Now, the whole surrogacy scenario seems like a far-off nightmare. I can't believe how crazy things got when I look back. However, I'm happy I got the opportunity. It gave me a lot of insight about defining boundaries, standing up for myself, and not compromising my morals even in the face of pain. I've also gained a lot of knowledge about giving and receiving forgiveness. Although it's not simple and won't happen right away, it is possible. Though I'm still working on it, I've come to see that harboring hatred toward Angelina won't benefit me in the long run. My therapist has been a great resource for me over this whole process. We've begun investigating how my early life events have shaped my connections with my family. Seeing how many of our present issues are the result of ingrained behaviors has been eye-opening. Learning to accept my parents and Angelina as imperfect people, instead of the larger-than-life characters they were, while I was growing up has been one of the hardest challenges. Though it takes time, I'm making progress. In addition, I've been trying to build a network of support outside of my family. My newfound friends here have been amazing. They've offered understanding and support without passing judgment. It helped me understand how much I was losing out on by always putting my family first. That being said, that is the current situation. My family is healing gradually. Nonetheless, we won't ever be the same. I'm making my own conditions for an enjoyable existence, and most importantly, I'm happy with the decisions I've made. If you find yourself in a similar situation, remember to trust your gut, maintain your composure, and resist the need to comply with familial pressure. Make your own decisions regarding your body at all times. I appreciate your unwavering support during this journey. I am sure that your counsel and support meant more to me than you can imagine. I don't know if I'll post again, but I wanted to say hello and let you know I'm all right. Superior than satisfactory. I'm doing well. I appreciate you seeing. Please click the notification bell to keep informed about more startling real-life tales that are happening nearby if you haven't already subscribed.